Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate that. I hope you are doing well. Not too long ago, I made some Durodangos, basically solid mud balls. They're unfired. But it raised the question, is it possible then to make a nice round orb, a globe, out of clay that's hollow in the middle and is fired? And so that is my goal today, is to try and do that. And it should be an interesting experiment. I'm not sure that it's a practical one, but it is interesting. So if you are interested, please come along and let's get started. When I make a canteen, I take two halves and stick them together, and that is the plan for making this ball. So I'm going to try and make two round pieces, just a hemisphere, and stick them together and then see if I can get it all rounded out so it's as round as possible. My plan is to use this round light bulb kind of as a form. So it's kind of will act as a hump mold, I guess. So I've got my clay rolled out here. I don't need quite this much. The question here is, the clay going to be plastic enough? Another thing that is a concern here, the light bulb is glass, obviously, and so the clay has a tendency to stick to it. So what I'm doing, I've got some dry clay, and I'm just adding some fine clay dust around it. Hopefully that'll keep it from sticking to the light bulb. I have to work kind of slowly here. This clay is, I know, not as plastic as I would like it to be, so I need to work slow. Right, I think that was working okay. So I'm going to let this set up for a while. Then I will cut it so I get as close to a half of a sphere as I can. And then do this all over again and then put the two together. So let's just let this sit. This has been sitting for about an hour. So the goal here is to try and get it off of the light bulb. Also be good to try and get this as close to a half circle as I can. It's one of those cases where guessing probably isn't the best strategy, but the problem easily could be that this whole thing just kind of sticks. I dusted it, but not only is the glass very smooth, but there's a little bit of suction that happens with this too. So it'll be real easy. There. Yeah, it's not too bad. What do you think? So I think the next step is just to let this sit and then get the other one started. I don't normally bother scoring when I join things together, but this clay has dried out a bit, and I want to get as good a bond as I can. So I also will make up a little bit of slip to help bond this stuff together. Okay, let's moisten this up a bit. And I have some slip here. Just going to paint it on. Seems to me that you can't overdo this part much. I've also decided to make this a rattle, so I've got some pieces of pottery sherds. Stick that in there, see how that works. Let's put this together. So you can see it doesn't fit perfectly. Obviously not exactly round, but not doing too bad. I'm going to, I think, let this sit for a little while and then come back and work on it some. It has sat for a little while longer, and I thought I would try and do the Dango thing here and try and use a little lid to kind of round it all out to get the high spots out. So at this point I think it's pretty good. It's actually, I can tell it's not a perfect sphere, but it's not too bad. I'm going to let this dry overnight and I'll come back and do some more smoothing. So the ball has been sitting all day and I just don't think I need to scrape it anymore. It's reasonably round. It's pretty good actually. So I'm going to polish it a little bit just to see if I can smooth out anything that might be a little bit rough. And then tomorrow I am going to slip it. So it's all slipped now, 2 coats, and I just need it to dry just a little bit, and I'll see if I can polish this down a little. This slip is not particularly sticky, so usually I can start polishing fairly soon. It's been sitting for maybe a half hour or so. All depends on how wet your clay is to begin with, but it's not sticking to the stone, so I'm good to go. I've used the stone to polish it, so it's pretty smooth now. And another thing you can do is take like a plastic bag from the grocery store and go over it as well. That can kind of smooth out any scratch marks. Here's the sphere. It's pretty well dried out and reasonably round, and now it's time to paint it. And good news, you can hear the little rattles in there. So let's move on to the next step. Here is phase 1 of the painted ball. Now I have to fill in all the different shapes. Here is the ball all painted. I think I've used just about every color that I own. Maybe a little over the top. All that's left to do, I want to drill a hole in for the air to escape. It may not be necessary, but I'm going to do it. And then get it fired. This morning it's just a few degrees above 0, and with this firing, I put some sheep dung on the very bottom of my Anywhere kiln, then a mixture of lump charcoal and coal. And the lump charcoal's purpose mostly is to get the coal going. It has taken a while, but the fire seems to be going well. So maybe it'll be done in a couple of hours. Well, I'm really pleased with this, what I call my little Anywhere kiln. Works really quite well. This fired for roughly 5 hours or so, and it's pretty much done. So let's see what we end up with here. Kind of fun, eh? I don't see any cracks or anything. Your rattle. Paint is not fugitive. So I would call this a good success. Thanks for coming with me on this little pottery adventure. this project turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Again, I always love the comments. Maybe give this a try for yourself. Till next time, this is Wes, wishing you health, happiness, peace, and love. Take care. Bye-bye.